Hello, hello, peace, world, peace. Welcome back to Goddess Dawn Speaks. I am Goddess Dawn, the one, the only, aka the $1 trillion goddess. It is a mindset, a frequency, and a vibe, honey. Welcome back. This is live number 2 for today. Today is a big day in the Diddy trial. We got the verdict this morning, and the judge is deciding on whether or not he's going to go right home on some type of special bond. So with that said, I wanted to come on before the judge said he'd be back at 5 p.m. Eastern, which I believe is coming up on the hour, and talk to you guys about what the government had to say about this bond and what the defense has to say in the filings. The judge told them to file me the letters. I'll consider it. We'll come back to court at 5 p.m. Eastern. And that's where we're at, people. Yeah, so happy to be here. Very much so. So without further ado, I'm going to let the algorithm do what it does. Hopefully somebody gets the message. If you're in the replay, you want to skip ahead, do so at about the 6.5 minute mark. In the meantime, I'm going to play a little bit of music. Okay. Y'all know I support my son. He's the one on the right, P. Corleone. He is on JTA's track, I Need Everything. He's the second verse. JTA is right there, bottom left. John the Asian Child. Song is a couple years old, but we about to do the video, honey. So we'll start with that. We're going to come back. We're going to go to the courtroom, see what happened this morning. And hopefully by then the judge will have come back with his decision on this bond situation, which I feel is ridiculous. But that's just me. So give me a couple minutes, y'all. I will be right back.
I got 20/20 vision and a pot to pissing. Coming for your dinner with my juice, with my chicken. I need everything. I've been hungry from the start. I need everything. Run the juice, run the car. I need everything. I need everything. But let's see, Jagger, why yourself get offended things. I need everything. I need everything. Not a little, not a lot. I mean everything. I need diamonds on my wristwatch. Two-tone AP with the big rocks. $500,000 on my neck, 6-figure on the dot. Hey, time to cut the check. I need Fendi, I need Gucci, yeah, that ball ring. I need 20, 50s, 100s, yeah, that ball gang. Going stupid in the lamb with the top down. I've been running for a decade, I won't stop now. No price sticker, rockin' ball main, ice dripper. Licking on me, shorty, know it, I'm a nice tipper. You be creeping on the gram, bitch, I get her. Yeah, she fucking with a boss, I'm a fly. Feeling like I'm big, you better give me the loot. Feeling like I'm Bishop, better give me the juice. Came in riding in the metro, about to leave in a coupe. You can miss me with the bull, boy, don't get it confused. I got 20/20 vision and a pot to pissing. Coming for your dinner with my juice, with my chicken. I need everything. I've been hungry from the start. I need everything. Run the juice, run the car. I need everything. I need everything. But let's see, Jagger, why yourself get offended things. I need everything. I need everything. Not a little, not a lot. I mean everything.
Point the pistol at him, take the money out the register. New bitch look like Sierra, hits the parent, I done leveled up. No Yaves, it's Ferrari, pusher started when I rev it up. My slimey's right behind me and beside me, fuck a fair one, You gon' get it, ho, if you don't give me everything. Married to the game, flipped a rock and bought a wedding ring. Shit that I be rocking out of stock, on top I better be. If I ever flop, I'm blocking pockets out your pair of jeans. Look, don't stare at me, spend everything on Beverly. Rare that there's a nigga out there spitting who ain't scared of me. Invited me, I missed it, hit DK, she do the scheduling. My ex is so regretted, bitch, I'm on the big and better things. I need everything, hey, ring and a chain. Hey, drinking every leaf, I roll up full of Mary Jane. Harry girl, I hit to be a 10 with friends and everything. Hit up JTA like, what's the play? And he said, hey,
I got 20/20 vision and a pot to pissing. Coming for your dinner with my juice, with my chicken. I need everything. I've been hungry from the start. I need everything. Run the juice, run the car. I need everything. I need everything. But let's see, Jagger, why yourself get offended things.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, and 3. Let me know if you can hear me. It's time to get into it, y'all. It has been some morning already. This is what they say Diddy looked like when he got that verdict. Before I get started, I want to say what's up to everybody who came and showed up in the chat. Warriors, my chosen ones, the chosen ones, child. Wow, Wayne, of course, thank you so much as always. Black Letter Law, what's going on? Yeah, shout out to you, Miss Sunshine, to you. Yes, Sunshine is in the building. Need the light. Love Queen, hello, peekaboo. Yeah, we have been waiting on this day. I mean, honestly, it's been a little lackluster. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe. Oh, yeah, if you want to donate to the fund and help pay for Pacer, please send your donation. All is well received and appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, no, said the verdict. I agree. Charlene, what's going on, Charlene? Disgusting is right. Nia X. Yeah, let's get it. Howdy, y'all. What's up, Ass Cobb? I tried to get him come on and read the defense's letter, but he wasn't feeling it. All right, Trav, what's going on? Hello. Thanks for today as well, the update. Right on time, child. What's going on, Queen Quiche? Welcome back. You said he was praying. He knows he was coming home. You can't stomach it. Yeah, it's very disturbing. And also, I've seen some things that are also disturbing. Some content creators have really surprised me today with what I'm seeing outside that courthouse. I'm like, what is going on? Yes. Hey, Shamina. On the floor, on the knees, child. Thank you for the bells. He's acting like he got acquitted. Somebody actually posted that he did get acquitted, and I had to let him know. No. They're like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. He's going to be going home today. Okay, well, he's still not acquitted. He's been convicted of 2 crimes, and they're not. I mean, people want listen. They are lesser charged crimes. However, they're still crimes. 2 counts, 2 Mann Act, I believe, but the solicitation. What is it? What's the law? What's the law? Transportation for the purpose of prostitution, right? For Jane and for Cassie, each hold up to 10 years, a maximum of 10 years, right? Shamina was telling me this earlier. But yeah, Wayne said guilty, guilty, guilty. Queen Key said, is the prostitution only year charge? Why is he so happy? I mean, it's a far cry from getting a RICO. I mean, the RICO would have definitely nailed his ass to the ground in that jail, in that prison, because he would have been going to prison. But now he has the opportunity to maybe not. I mean, look at his lawyer. I was shocked to hear Mark Ignifilo say right after the verdict came in, he was ready to go with it too. Can he go home? His family's ready to sign this bond. The judge said $1 million. Yep, he's ready to go, and he's no threat. His plane is being chartered as we speak. It's in Maui. He has no transportation. This guy, we just want to let him go to his Star Island mansion, the one with the boat dock, and let him also travel from LA to Miami to New York. Let him do his thing. Prostitution. What is that? It's nothing. He was not, he didn't get the RICO. He's not the head of a RICO. He is not trafficking anybody. Okay. Just a little bit of entertainers for money, traveling. That's about it. It's just fun. It's rock star lifestyle. What is the problem? And speaking of the rock stars, around the world are going to need to tailor their behaviors. or somehow figure out how to not end up in a situation like Diddy. Because let's be honest, not even just rock stars per se, but people in general do this all the time. Fly people out, you planning a rendezvous. A lot of people have online relationships where they meet up every so often, and maybe sometimes that's the case. Now, maybe not with a side of abuse, not with a side of kicking and dragging and stomping, but nevertheless, it is a popular affair. It's just a thing that people do. So this kind of sets a precedent, even though I'm pretty sure it's not the first conviction on the Mann Act. I mean, I think R. Kelly had the same conviction. Yeah. I mean, his had minors included in his stuff. Okay, let's see what y'all are saying, and then we'll get into the things. Trav said the judge. Okay, hold on. Let me get to this now. Trav, it's been a long day. Joker's outside the courthouse pouring baby oil on somebody, child. I'm going to show y'all who that is because we know who it is. We know him very well, and I'm so surprised by it. Queen Key said up to 10 years. What if the judge gives him 20? People are already predicting the judge giving him like 2 years, 1 year for each count. Or somebody said the prosecution already put in a letter, which I haven't read yet, that they are asking for 63 months, I think, which is a little over 5 years, right? Let me check and make sure let's see if the judge is into the court. What's happening? Let's get this real-time action. Okay, let's see. Nothing there. They said it's like a circus, not even more than a circus now, outside that court. Okay, so this was yesterday. What a day, what a day. I wonder how Diddy is feeling right now. I'm pretty sure he thought he was going to skate. I am pretty sure he thought he was going to be found not guilty of everything. My personal opinion is that Diddy was able to procure either one or more of these jurors. Yeah, I do feel that a couple of those jurors were compromised, including the one that was removed. And I do believe let him skate on everything because they couldn't get away with it. Some of that stuff was like, how are you going to say no to that? If the evidence is right there, something's up with you. So they had to, I think the deal might have been just make sure he don't get the RICO. He can maybe deal with the other stuff. We'll work that out ourselves. That stuff is nothing. But that RICO, yeah, we need him free of that. Okay, see, court will reconvene. Okay, I guess I'll just get to the letters then, because it looks like we're still waiting. If y'all see any action on what the judge is saying and I'm missing it, just let me know because I won't be able to read the chat, but put it in the chat. So when I come see it, I will know. In the meantime, let me pull it up on Pacer. It's already up, but I'm pretty sure it's going to want me to refresh the page, which it does. Time is moving real weird for me. It was real slow this morning for some reason, but it was good. All right, so I'll read so first the defense filed their letter, then the government responded, and I understand the defense, I thought they sent a second letter in, which I don't see. Cassie's attorney also filed a letter. I swear they said a second letter was filed by defense. The judge's order is here as well with regard to the verdict and exhibit. Okay, so 432 it is. So the defense filed a 6-page letter to the judge with regard to Diddy's immediate release via some type of rule. Child, I'm about to read it right now. Well, let me come over here, make sure y'all are here. Nia said he'll leave the country if they let him out. Him and Russell be kicking it. Yeah. How's he still got $1 million, all them lawsuits? That's a good question. He'll be having a freak off tonight and a white party. Exactly. He already got the baby oil and the Astroglide on deck, child. They already said he has some type of tour already he was promoting the day before this verdict came out. If prostitution was legal, why are others arrested and it's only legal in Nevada? This is irritating, to say the least. To say the freaking least. I mean, not to say I'm wishing on a man's downfall, but like honestly, this little stuff was gonna make up for all the other stuff he's been accused of that we know he had to do with. Kim Porter, Biggie, probably Pac too. And it was gonna feel like a little bit of justification or something. But now, not to say the state might not roll up on his ass and pick up one of these civil suits on him if they got enough proof. Not to say that, and the thing is though, which state? Where is he gonna land? Y'all think he's gonna live in one of the 3 states? Probably so. He said Star Mansion, so he's going back to Miami. Jane is gonna be there waiting because she didn't give everything that needed to be given. Matter of fact, she might have messed some stuff up on purpose, which is why he's still paying her rent and her attorney fees, and she went and hugged the defense attorney after she was finished testifying. Didn't make no sense till now. Okay, so Dear Judge Subramanian, again, this is from Shapiro. It has Shapiro's letterhead on it. So this is from Diddy's attorney, Shapiro, specifically on his behalf. Mr. Combs moves for release on appropriate conditions pursuant to 18 U.S.C. 3143A1, pending his sentence proceeding. Given the jury's clear verdict acquitting Mr. Combs of RICO conspiracy and S trafficking counts, continued detention of Mr. Combs is inappropriate. As these proceedings have demonstrated, and as we told the court from the outset of this case, Mr. Combs came to New York to surrender in order to defend against the government's charges because he was committed to showing his innocence. With all that baby oil and Astroglide and the rugs as well for a one night before I go party, freak off. So they say since his arrest and detention on September 17, 2024, Mr. Combs has obeyed the court, respected these proceedings, and demonstrated model behavior at the MDC. Just opening the door, this is me saying this, opening the door for the government to tell all the reasons why this is not true. And I hope they list every single thing. They say Mr. Combs stands convicted of 2 men and his sentencing exposure is substantially lower than when the government initially sought detention. The court should release Mr. Combs on the proposed conditions. They have the applicable law here. Basically saying that a defendant who's been found guilty of an offense is entitled to release pending sentencing if the court finds by clear and convincing evidence that he is not likely to flee or pose danger to the safety of any other person in the community. So that's important to know because we're going to have people contesting him coming out, people who testified. And they're also saying aside from the burden of proof resting on the defendant rather than the government, the operative standards are the same as those outlined in these particular sections. Okay. They're letting them know where in the law you can find this. They're saying he's not a flight risk, of course. It's insufficient, they say, to rely on only evidence of the commission of a serious crime and the fact of a potentially long sentence to support a finding risk of flight. And they're citing United States versus Friedman. So they're citing a lot of case law. They say he's not a flight risk, he's not a danger, and they propose these particular release conditions that they think are more than sufficient to assure his appearance as required, as well as the safety of any person. Okay, so they're saying during the initial bail proceedings, the government argued Mr. Combs was a flight risk because he was charged with serious offenses, carrying significant and in some cases mandatory terms of imprisonment. But now the circumstances, they say, are opposite. Okay, they're saying because it's a 2 offense level for a violation of the Mann Act. They said it's 14. That's the base offense level. Because there are 2 counts of conviction relating to 2 separate victims, it instructs that the counts are grouped separately. So they're saying now, well, they're just trying to explain why his sentencing exposure, which we fully expect and do not seek to minimize in any way, is in fact low. And so is corresponding risk of flight. Oh, they're not trying to minimize his sentencing exposure, let's see, according to them. Okay, let's see. What does he plan on doing to ensure that he's not going to be a flight risk? So they're saying all of these things, they're just recounting history, basically. What he did as far as his count. Basically, they're saying all of his actions prior to his arrest actually further demonstrate that he's neither a flight risk or a danger to the community. He knew he was under investigation and likely to be charged earlier in the year, but he wasn't arrested until September. In the intervening months, he demonstrated that he is trustworthy and committed to respecting the legal process. When all up and through this whole situation, he has proven otherwise. The government has evidence of the fact that he was breaking jail rules with regard to his communications, with regards to harassment, threats to potential witnesses. We see Gina didn't show up. Also, he's just not that guy. I mean, they just really just outright lie. Okay, what else? They're saying that when it became apparent to counsel that Mr. Combs would be formally charged, Mr. Combs did something extraordinary. He left his home in Miami and traveled to New York, the very location of the prosecutors and agents investigating. Through counsel, Mr. Combs promptly told the government that he had voluntarily come to New York, offered to tell them specifically where he was, and offered to turn himself in at the appropriate time. The government rejected that offer and elected to arrest him. But Mr. Combs' own conduct was the opposite of flight. He affirmatively and proactively sought to cooperate with the legal process. So they're saying through counsel, like we aided him with this process. He promptly told them that he had voluntarily come to New York, but he hadn't told them where exactly because they say he offered to tell them specifically where he was, and he offered to turn himself in at an appropriate time, which was probably on his time. And also, offering doesn't mean doing. It means you're also wanting something in exchange. So they rejected that. So whatever it was he was asking for in exchange wasn't enough, apparently. I'm curious to know what he did offer in exchange, because he surely didn't get to New York and say, here I am, I'm at the blah, blah hotel room with such and such, or here I am, what time you want me to come in? No, it was here I am, but you got to find me, which you won't. But I'm going to tell you, this is what I want, and then we can work something out. And it didn't work out. So they say even before his offer of self-surrender, Mr. Combs demonstrated a pattern of trustworthiness and cooperation. Mr. Combs' residences were searched in March of 2024. And even before that, Mr. Combs and his counsel were aware that the United States attorney was investigating him for serious crimes. Throughout this time, Mr. Combs acted forthrightly, and remained committed to the process. So they're basically outlining everything that happened from the searches. How they took possession of his passport, and how on the same day his counsel advised the prosecutors that Mr. Combs has surrendered his passport. So basically saying, we've been keeping y'all in the loop this whole time. Nobody has held any information back. We've been very transparent. They're saying that the defense counsel says they would not return it to him and that he would not leave the country, because I'm pretty sure he doesn't need his passport if he's hopping on his private jet. And I believe at that time he had two. They say he sold one of them, and one of them is being chartered currently. It's in Maui, as if it can't just fly on out at any time. Just because it's in Maui doesn't mean, I mean, I'm pretty sure they can track the plane. They've probably been tracking the plane this whole time. But please. So they say that the counsel, defense counsel still has the passport, and that they would inform the AUSAs if there was any plan to domestically travel. And all subsequent travel was done with the government's knowledge, they say. They say also, third, Mr. Combs voluntarily relocated to New York on September 5th. Once Mr. Combs arrived in New York, defense counsel immediately informed the government of his whereabouts. Okay, so they're saying we told where he was. He didn't tell, but he offered. Interesting. Fourth, he paid off the mortgage at his residence at 2 West Star in Miami. This payment of about $18 million was for one reason alone. So that would have his $48 million residence free and clear of any encumbrances so that it can be used to secure bond. All this shows that Mr. Combs is not a flight risk. To the contrary, he has taken extraordinary measures, demonstrating that what he always wanted was to cooperate with the legal process so he could establish innocence in this court. That's precisely what he did as the most serious charges against him. As to the most. Moreover, other factors are he has familiar and community ties. The court need not only consider Combs and his family's conduct over the last 10 months and prior to assure itself no risk that he will flee or recidivate or continue to commit crimes. Throughout these proceedings, his family has been seated by his side, demonstrating the same respect. Please. And then meanwhile, his sons have been named in very serious lawsuits. And one of them had just dodged a court server. I forgot what they call the people that serve you the papers. Justin had dodged one of them, and they had to close one of the take him off one of the cases. I think Rodney's case, little Rodney, because they couldn't serve him. Then now he is here showing up at court every day and on camera. I don't know why they couldn't just wait a couple days. Okay, so basically blah, blah, blah about all the things. You know, he missed all these moments in his daughter's lives, and he missed their high school graduation. Then they bring up Kim Porter tragically passing in 2018. He missed their prom. And also he has a minor daughter, 2.5 years old. She's been without him for 9 months. He needs and wants to remain with his family, they say. And they say at today's hearing, the government suggested Mr. Combs would still be a danger, they put in quotes, in the sense that he still had the means and ability to commit prostitution crimes. With all due respect, the suggestion is unsupported. So they're saying here too that Mr. Combs never called any potential escorts or prostitutes, nor did he make an effort to arrange meetings with escorts or prostitutes, nor was he with Jane in New York. What? In any event, reasonable conditions would ensure that Mr. Combs would not have the ability to arrange meetings with escorts. What? Oh, before he got picked up, she wasn't with him. She said she was on her way until that's the reason she wasn't with him, is because he got picked up. Wow. Way to spin the narrative. So yeah, he missed a lot of things, and poor him. So they go on to try to prove their argument for his release with all this case law, child. I wouldn't say all this. There's what, one, two, three cases they're citing. Well, more like 7. But they want immediate detention for this guy. They proposed the following: $1 million bond, but they just said they were ready to put that house up, that $48 million house also, but they're saying $1 million now. It's co-signed by Sean Combs, his mother, his sister, and the mother of his oldest daughter. And it says that he will travel unrestricted to the Southern District of Florida, Central District of California, and the Southern District of New York. He will also attend court and meet with his counsel, as well as the Eastern District of New York and the District of New Jersey, only to the extent that his travel to and from New York involves an airport in those districts. His passport is surrendered to pretrial services, narcotics testing as ordered by pretrial services, and all other standard conditions of pretrial supervision. Now, notice they didn't mention any type of monitoring or ankle monitor. I mean, I guess they wouldn't want to put additional restrictions on him if pretrial wasn't going to enforce it. So they probably want to just let pretrial be the one to put that on their report or whatever it is they're going to file. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Okay, let me see. Bail denied. Oh, it's denied. Oh, good. I was hoping so, because I still wanted to read the letters. I'm curious to see what the government has to say. Thank you, Trav. Hey, Chrissy Power. Good to see you, love. Hey, Andrew. You said how R. Kelly got convicted for all 9 counts and Diddy got convicted for only 2. I think Diddy compromised a couple of those lawyers. I think that he paid a couple of those people off, including the one that got removed. You said if they let him go, freak off. If they let him go, freak off. Okay, I don't know, Quiz Turner, what that's supposed to mean, but feel free to freak off all you want to, as long as everybody's consenting, as long as you didn't groom a person to get to the freak off position and, not hurt nobody. What else? So there's a couple of things. Hey, Juti, right. Yeah, hit the like button. You said the kids was happy as heck. Yeah, that's what I want to show. Okay, let me look and see, because y'all telling me it was denied. I want to hear what he had to say. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Bail denied. All right. In the courtroom, Combs' lawyer, Brian Steele, and Jason Driscoll are patting each other on the back. Ignifilo is in the holding cell with Combs. His family is in the second row of the gallery. Combs' lawyers, Ignifilo, Alexander Shapiro, and Tinny Garagos, emerge from the holding cell, still waiting for Sean Combs to be brought into the courtroom by the U.S. Marshals. At 5:09 p.m. Eastern, Sean Combs has been brought out, sits next to Tinny Garagos, reading. Ignifilo walks over to the lectern, then back over to his seat. Prosecutors are placed at the front table. I didn't realize how far after 5 it was. Okay. Waiting on Judge Subramanian. The judge says, I've read the party submissions and others. The judge did the defendant on counts 3 and 5. For the following reasons, bail is denied. Yes. Good job, Judge. Good job. The judge continues, even if the defendant was solely required to show that he is not a danger to the community, he could not meet that burden. Ooh. Prior to the trial, the court denied bail and see no reason for that now. The defense conceded that the defendant's violence. Ooh, child. The judge said his violence is depicted in the video of Cassie Ventura. The defense admitted this is a terrible moment. Domestic violence is the issue, is what she said. It wasn't only that. There was the London hotel incident. There was the violence after the searches in this case. As to Jane, there was June 2024, after the searches of Combs' residences. This evidence is a disregard for the law and a propensity for violence. Ooh, the judge is setting it up for that sentencing. When's the sentencing? Come on, judge. He said the court takes no position on what it will consider at sentencing, nor what sentencing it will impose. But here, the burden is on him, and he cannot carry it. Whoa. The defense argues the guideline starts at 21 months. The U.S. says 51 months. He'd be done in 10 months. The defense argues the guideline starts at 21 months. The U.S. says 51 months. He done 10 months. Oh, he's done 10 months. Okay. He's done 10 months, he said. This is, I know somebody commented it feels like it's a sentencing. He's preparing for it, though. And he don't have nothing nice to say about Diddy. Okay. The judge had all the notes on when that violence had taken place. No, let's not forget. Let's not forget this day, this situation, this hotel. Okay. Okay, I'm waiting to see if there's another update. The judge says I sentencing for Friday, October at 10 a.m. I'm willing to expedite it. Ignifilo says we would like it expedited. You will need an expedited pre-sentencing report from probation, but I will be available at any time. Whoa. 10. He wants him to stay till October. So we're just in July, August, September. So 4 months. Judge don't give no fucks. He said, I'm available at any time. Let me know. But right now, probation has to send this report. Otherwise, it's October 3rd. And he's going to stay behind bars until then. And then once I do the sentencing, he's going to get on the bus and go to prison. Okay? Because the judge is not playing. Now, some might say, well, he gave him that date, so maybe he'll give him time served. Because at that point, it would have been a year of him being behind bars by October 3rd. He was sentenced he was arrested September 14th, I believe, of 2024. So that could be a strategy as well. Maybe he wants to look like he's all hard right now and then soften up right around the time to give him the sentence. Like he could give him a time served. Because he could be lined up too. His pockets could be lined up too. Somebody was saying how he chose this judge. I don't remember that being the case. But if that is the case, like, I think whatever is in the dark with regard to this is going to come to light. We're going to hear from these jurors about what happened behind the scenes at some point of the jury, of the deliberations and what happened with regard to that RICO. But not to say it will be the truth, but we're going to get some stories about how that went down. I'm curious to know. Okay, let's see. House. Is that it? Let me look on my other sources page real quick. I was reading the letters. I mean, being that it was denied, I still want to see what the government said to convince the judge. Okay, yeah, her last update is pretty much the same. Combs will remain in federal detention until sentencing. That's it. And there has to be more action in the docket for the judge to consider before expediting that date. You see, he wasn't trying to give him no special treatment and say, your sentencing is going to be in a couple weeks, because then it can really be argued that he should be at home for that. Like, why not just let him out if it's only going to be a few weeks before he's sentenced? It could be the difference, the little bit of time that he has left with his family before he's sent away. So he made sure to say, nah, he gonna be sitting in there for a minute. So no need to even go there. Okay, I'm gonna go back over to this letter. So we read the defense. I'm going to read what the government had to say in response. They also have an exhibit, which is actually a letter from one of the witnesses. Short letter, but a letter that is worth reading. So he didn't get his bond, and his sentencing date is October 3rd. So at this point, he's looking at being behind bars for the remaining months, unless they can probation can provide something to say otherwise. Like I said, they didn't mention anything about a monitor. They didn't say any of that because they're pretty sure that probation is going to propose that. They need to leave some room for probation to have some negotiation, so they can feel like, well, we implemented some things, some safety precautions, and maybe it'll be okay. Because like I said, nobody, in my opinion, is free from the suspicion that somebody's pockets got lined. Period. I'm convinced one or more of those jurors were compromised. And you can't forget that juror who told the judge after juror 6 was removed, another juror approached the judge and said, I got this strange text message from this number, I don't know, asking me if I'm juror number 6, which was the one that was removed. I don't think they responded, but the fact that somebody was fishing around, texting jurors or potential jurors, means that they had access to these people. Somebody was feeding information. And from the start, Diddy and his lawyers have been up to no fucking good when it comes to this case, and trying any and every which way but loose in order to get him loose, which hasn't worked so far. And I don't see it happening anytime soon. I feel like he's going to finish that time into October, and I feel like the judge is going to pin some time on him, because the judge, I feel like, was irritated this whole time by his defense methods. It was obvious during a lot of the communications. I listened to some people who have the actual transcripts read some parts. And the judge, it was really underestimated or underreported about how irritated the judge was with Mark Ignifilo most times. So, and like I said, too, it's not too late for the state to roll up on him with some new charges based on some of these civil suits, especially these more recent ones and ones that include his sons. He's not out of the woods by any means. So not only is he sitting behind bars at this moment until his sentencing date of October 3rd at the very minimum, but he's also still facing over 100 civil claims, very serious ones. They're very active as well. Just because there's been issues with the main attorney, Tony Busby, and his jurisdiction stuff, he's still in the game. Like, his colleagues are handling these cases, and he's still very hands-on, I'm pretty sure. But at the same time, this stuff is serious. It's not like I'm going to be able to now rest easy because I didn't get a RICO. He might have wanted to get that RICO and be safe and sound in that little prison. So now when you come out into the world, you got people after you, son. There's people who are super angry with this guy. Maybe they just found out some stuff that he did to a loved one, or just the fact that maybe people are going to be triggered because he got away with it, in quotes and air quotes. He got away with it because it does seem that he skated because of who he is and his influence and his, most of all, his money. That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. We had a lot of different reactions, and that's what I was going to show as well from people in the crowd. And like, I'm shocked at some of the things that I have witnessed, child. Like, is this the world we're living in today? This is society now that we're living in? Let me take this picture down. Follow me on Insta. Trav said, I guess the crowd gonna put up the baby oil now. The jurors being contacted says that all jurors were bought. Exactly. Heard no bell. Yep. Sad day for justice. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe. Somebody posted, Shamina, that the state was only asking for 63 months. And I, when I saw it, I didn't know if this was something included in their letter or not, which actually I forgot I was about to read, or at least see what's in it. I don't need to actually read the whole thing, but I don't know if 63 months, if it's not in this letter, then that was a lie. And they didn't say whether or not it was just for both counts together or two separate, or charges, or the two separate amount for each charge. Okay. Yeah, so I'll break it up and just show some of these headlines and stuff, people's reactions. Lunel had this to say. So, ladies, we're dead in the water. People are cheering for this nasty man. Devil emoji. Nobody, and I mean nobody, cares due to women. It's sad. AF to me. All his enablers and helpers, they just get to skip away scot-free. Hurry, run, get your baby oil, and let the freak-offs begin again. With her different little emoji. She's so right. I see somebody saying, but women also need to take responsibility for our actions. I mean, yeah, of course, but that does never, ever give anybody permission to put their hands on you. Like, it's just always exhausting. Continue to explain why the responsibility of the abuse is on the abuser. This is a statement from Cassie's lawyer, which was in a letter I was going to read, but it says here, the entire criminal process started when our client, Cassie Ventura, had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. Although the jury did not find Combs guilty of S trafficking, Cassie, beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. By coming forward with her experience, Cassie has left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. We must repeat with no reservation that we believe and support our client, who showed exemplary courage throughout this trial. She displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted for decades without repercussion. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of survivors. Yeah, well, it is being said that this case, even though it seemed to, in my opinion, have failed a lot of us in this verdict, people who really wanted justice for a lot of the things listed in the predicates of that RICO. But even still, maybe it is just chipping away at the monumental problem that we have in society. And there are so many of them, but one of them is this weird hate or disdain against women. And mostly, I mean, Black women, get the brunt, I think, the worst. But women in general, women are, that's why Kamala didn't win. That's why Hillary didn't win. Nobody was going to be, the whole world is not ready for a woman to be in a power position like that. And therefore, this is where they want women in the victim role, or somebody who now you know all of their business, from the urination in the mouth and all the different things, the sores, all the different things. I mean, it's horrible to be put in this type of position. I mean, not to say her payoff, if you want to just count the 20 million or the 10 plus from the hotel, the 30 million total possible payoff, that doesn't cure or take away or heal you on the inside. And that honestly is where everything really counts. Believe it or not. A lot of people are like, yeah, that's bullshit, I'll take the money. Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's still, the hurt is still carried. You're still triggered. You still have, like, the healing has to happen. It's going to happen over time if you pursue it. But it's not an easy road. Okay, let me see some of this crazy stuff I have here. A couple of things. Okay. Diddy's son.
Once court was adjourned, family members cheered today's verdict. Combs' son, Christian, telling ABC News how happy he is.
Hey, yo, we love y'all. We love everybody watching. So happy. Pop's coming home. God bless. God bless the whole world.
What was going through your head when the verdict was read? Happy.
Joining me now, Irina Roy. Once court was adjourned, family members cheered today's verdict.
Well, so we saw that happen. And that was right after, I guess, the verdict was read. Okay, so they're talking about the letter that the government submitted, which I haven't gotten to yet. The picture that I already also have posted. Somebody put, the jury failed those victims. Sure did. There was a ringer in that jury, a couple, if not one more. Young Miami posted this. And I don't think it's cute at all. I think it's pretty disgusting. Okay, this is from Cassie's lawyer, which I just read.
Yeah.
Diddy's mom, back on top, child.
Yes.
Sickening. I thought that was sick. Good point. State charges might come. Let's hope. I honestly do hope for those victims. Shamina said, I hope they ask for 20. Yeah. Trav said the judge said they will have a hearing on July 8th. Okay, thank you for that. Nia X, you preaching. Andrew, I see Young Miami having fun these days, right? Wild Wayne said, I know 50 is happy. Is he? Juti said, this is too much for me. Nia X said, please do not. Juti said, I love you all. I need a mental health break. I know, right? And I was thinking the same thing. Like, I might have to take a break. And maybe I'll hop on my other channel, The Nosy Goddess. I haven't even been posting over there because this takes a lot of energy. Even though I've been coming on once a day, the commitment of coming on once a day and covering such debauchery, such just nastiness every single day, and then having to look up things to stay in the know and make sure I'm not, missing out on any good stories or whatever. It's a lot. Like, I mean, it wasn't as any worse than R. Kelly. Probably not as worse, honestly, not as bad. Because R. Kelly's those cases, two back-to-back huge cases, took a lot. And this, I'm learning just by my heavy exhales today. I'm like able to breathe, like, oh, it's over, child. Okay. Now, what is this July 8th meeting about, Trav? If the sentencing is supposed to be October, they're gonna get an opportunity to get that shortened in July. Let me look back at Twitter real quick. Okay, the judge said, I set sentencing for Friday, October 3rd at 10 a.m. I'm willing to expedite. Okay, I read that part. Oh, here we go. There is a great divide. This is the judge. There's a great divide on the sentencing guideline. I see that Ms. Comey has her statute book open. Comey says the rule required for preparation of a report, absent a reasoned waiver, probation may be able to expedite. The judge said, update me by July 8th at noon. So he's looking for an update by. The judge continues, and we'll hold a hearing on the afternoon of July 8th. Okay, afternoon hearing. Agnifilo says, Your Honor has a lot of information from presiding over the trial. We want the sentencing as soon as possible. Other Mann Act cases, there's nothing remotely similar to this. The cases we've reviewed involving defendants making money, millions, or involved minors. That's different here. That's different. Here are the facts. From our letter, see United States versus Dillon. Actually, it's U.S. versus Dillon Jordan. I covered here. Oh, the reporter put that in. But Agnifilo continues to say, then there was the club of the former governor of New York. We understand this is moving quickly. The issue for us is if we had more time, we could have shown extraordinary circumstances. The judge says you need violence in your closing. Whether that's revolution is not for today, but it can be considered on a bail application. Agnifilo says in June 2024, there's an argument that Mr. Combs was defending himself. The judge says Mr. Combs tried to get into a batterer's program in New York. The jury never heard that. Then he got arrested. All these months later, here we are. The same drive to meet the head on, like the self-respecting businessman he is. Oh, to meet the problem head on? Agnifilo says he's been a model prisoner. Really? There have been no issues. He's going to have the next chapters of his life. When you charge with racketeering, you have dark talks. When I was reading the Mia message for his birthday, I had a hard time doing it. This seems to indicate at most the judge will sentence him to 5 years. Oh, somebody commented that. I'm like, what? Okay, so that's the most recent one, is that he's been a model prisoner. When the government can totally rebut that, though. Agnifilo said his children are here, his 2 daughters, they're in the middle of second row. They no longer have a living mother. Here, the user of prostitution services has been convicted under the Mann Act. He was acquitted of violence for S trafficking. Why is they calling the judge weak? I thought he said no. Somebody said, yeah, he's going home. Why are they still arguing this? I thought it was denied. The judge seems very adamant about the fact that Combs is violent. He even told Mark Agnifilo, you conceded to violence in your closing. Like, what are you even talking about? He tried to get into a batterer's program before he picked up, which means he wasn't planning on turning himself in. How could he turn himself in if he was in a program? He thought he was being slick. Agnifilo said, he wants to talk to you. Let me check. The judge says, okay, check, Miss Comey. Comey says his brazenness is almost unmatched. The subject, I guess it's supposed to be to suggest. To suggest it was self-defense is insulting. He slapped her in the shoulder. He had rugs in his New York City hotel room. He invited Jane. What the hell? So they still are arguing this. This is crazy. He has not been a model prisoner, and the government needs to object. I mean, I don't know what they could say if they can interject there, but hello. This is insanity. Let's see. Mia said nope, because what about him threatening the jurors? I know you is crazy. Exactly. The fact that they're using Kim to support their claim when Doodoo Daddy is likely the one that unalived her is giving me rage. Exactly, man. This is like crazy. Trav said, damn, this judge ain't playing. Well, is he? I thought it was a closed matter. I'm like, why are y'all arguing this? Okay, let me go back to IG real quick while they're still working that out, because that man need not be going home. Okay, let's see what else we got here. We don't need to see all these Diddy memes. Diddy leaving. They're gonna ding me for this music. I don't know if y'all can see that. They got Brian Steele like he's a new superstar. Brian Steele beat 2 RICOs under a year, 1 federal case in 1 state. He might be the best lawyer in the game, they say. I know he is eating this up. They calling him lawyer of the decade. Ray J celebrating.
To the stream. How you doing?
Thank you, Tasha. Yeah, we up in here. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, whether it was on Pierce Morgan, whether it was on Tasha K, whether it was on News Nation, whether it was on Fox, whether it was on, whoever picked it up. We've always been vocal about what it was and what it is, right? And people have always said that, some of the things we've seen Diddy do is unacceptable. And that is a different case from what we're looking at now. So a lot of people think we're celebrating wrongdoing. That's not what this is. We're celebrating what's right with still a few twists that still shouldn't have went on too. But I guess, you got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. But at the same time, what he was charged for, in my opinion, like I said from the beginning, was nonsense. Now, if it was a domestic violence case, if it was civil or whatever that was, then it would be a problem. Everybody knows it would have been a big problem. And nobody condones that who, respects women and who stands for people being right and doing right. In this case, it wasn't that. And so it started to get weird. And then now we all, as a people, got to be like, yo, this shit is not okay. And that's when everybody, whoever had balls, because everybody was still scared. You saw 5 to 7 people even commenting on the Diddy case in its entirety. Why? I told everybody from the beginning, I don't like baby oil. All the baby oil hype. Where's that now? Where were the drugs in the baby oil? It wasn't there, right? So you see how narratives get into ways where you start thinking that somebody's throwing it from a professional football player aspect, right? Because it's just so perfectly wrong. We celebrated. I've been playing Diddy all morning. My neighbors is mad because I'm loud this morning, but I told them, listen, I'm celebrating almost what was right, because guilty makes me feel like, okay, everybody wins in that kind of state of like, okay, you're guilty, but really not guilty for the major shit. But Diddy gets to go home.
Child. I can't. There's nothing to celebrate. Like, there's people will have been hurt by this man. People really put their lives on the line to come out and speak against this man. So to just make light and make fun of it, it's just not okay. Okay, so thank you, Trav. Trav, let me know. It's been denied for sure good now. The judge said, after Comey was like, his brazenness. I mean, but Ignifilo said, we could craft conditions. Would the court be open to us putting together a bail package? I'm happy to do so. The judge says the bail application is denied. We'll receive, hopefully, a joint proposal on expediting sentencing on Tuesday and a hearing at 2 p.m. So July 8th, which is next week, right? They want to hear what, why should we expedite this? But outside of that, we're looking at October 3rd for this man to even be told what his sentencing is going to be for this conviction. So I don't know, these people out here celebrating in these streets, acting like something like he won the lotto or something. I don't get it. But I'm going to show y'all what I'm talking about. Here we go. Oh, wait, let me switch the page over. Hold on. Okay, so this is Armand Wiggins. I mean, I've never been shy about saying I love Armand because I really do love Armand. But this, I cannot ride with this. I can't co-sign this. I cannot even pretend to think this is okay. This is not a joking and mocking manner. This situation is so much more serious than this. And I get it. Like, yeah, I mean, he was making light of the situation the whole time. He did his commentary and he added his humor. But to do this after such a light conviction at that, where, people, again, put their lives on the line, came out from the shadows. Some of these people with these civil suits are even coming out most of them coming out because of this lawsuit and the fact that people believed in the system. Like, okay, well, we really know it don't work for us, but maybe in this case it would work for us because he's so evil. Maybe in this case it'll be for the victims, but no, money wins. And here's Armand. So I'm confused about why he's so giddy and happy. I understand the whole baby oil thing. He used this throughout his commentaries throughout these weeks as a prop. But all this giddiness and it was like, were you rooting for Diddy the whole time?
I told you this to get out.
This is in front of the courthouse, y'all. Somewhere around the courthouse. This is insanity. I'm going to drop the link for anybody who wants to come up before I decide to shut this shit down because I can't. I cannot. They all finna get paid is what Nia said. Definitely. That's what I think too. I'm like, oh, we see the Diddy boppers who was on the payroll. Trav said, we got to talk about my boy Boosie. He been cheering his ass off for R. Kelly and Diddy. You right. And I think I have him saved in here too. Let me see. Yeah, here he is.
Man, I'm so glad Diddy free, bro.
He's not free.
The reason is
why he's saying is he's free. He's not free. Why is this being said?
Is
because I'm tired of seeing us black moguls get took down like that, bro. Like, and I'm tired of seeing us black people go against us black moguls like that. And I feel like if Diddy was a white man who done all this for people, you know, I know he ain't paid, but he done all white people out there protesting for this man losing his life behind a relationship, you know. And people always Boosie was on Diddy's side. Nah, it ain't that. It's because I'm thinking about 7 children. Y'all thinking about one person. I'm thinking about these 7 kids who been in my kids' position. Not knowing if your daddy gonna come home or not is a burden on the child. Like I've been said, I'm so glad Diddy free, bro.
Cassidy Ventura. So that is obviously an enormous win.
Oh my God.
The jury did not
guilty on Cassie, not guilty on Rico. No way that Jane is going to be guilty.
There was the video, of course, where he was.
Oh, this makes me physically ill.
Lobby.
Sure.
And, you know, the prosecution showing that video, or with knowing that video was going to be shown to the jury, was, well, domestic abuse.
Wolf is silent.
Said, look, domestic abuse happened. But
Wolf is silent.
Right.
There was no racketeering, and it seems like the jury.
If we're talking about count 2 here, the forcible sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura, that means the jury has concluded there was
Cassie probably feels so horrible.
Coercion involved in that. It could still be that the jury finds yes, a person.
I'm gonna vomit.
State lines for the purpose of prostitution. Yes. That's count 3.
Okay, I'm getting some other news.
Oh, please.
Sex trafficking of Jane, I'm told in my ear, not guilty.
Okay. Cassidy Ventura. So that is.
A lot of people are taking this extremely hard, especially the people who weren't able to stand up for themselves, but have had experiences with Diddy. Some people have still not filed any type of suit. Some people are sitting very quietly with their trauma and have been watching this case very, very hard, diligently, and hoping for justice that felt good enough to be transferred to them. But not necessarily the case, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the family leaving the court though.
Yeah! Congratulations! We send it, girl! Yeah, Justin! Yeah, Josh! Yeah, Josh! Yeah! We beating it up! Shout out to the girls. Look at the girls right there, y'all. Look at the girls. Looking good. I love y'all girls. Mama, I love you. I love you, Mama. Yay! Congratulations!
Notice the Justin and Christian brought their girlfriends to court. It's just kind of like, is this really the right place and time for this? And Diddy, did y'all know he told his family he was coming home after the verdict was read? So that was the difference of the RICO versus not getting charged with the RICO. Getting charged with the RICO meant he may never come home. He may have never come home. And that's why all of the relief, which I get, but to cheer as if there's no consequence or charge or, time to be served because of the 2 counts, I have a problem with that. I mean, I get the relief again. It's the difference between coming home and not coming home. He could be coming home in a couple years. I believe each charge is sentencing guideline is 1 to 10, right? 1 to 10 years anywhere. The judge during his declining or denying the bail sounds like he is not happy with Diddy. I'm pretty sure that he's going to reflect that in his sentencing. But like I said, when I pulled those cards a couple lives ago, and one of those cards said this was humiliation for him. Some respects, this going this far for him is a whole humiliation ritual, a whole thing for him, like a Hail Mary, okay, that he had to throw in order to even probably stay alive, child. I'm pretty sure whoever the powers that be, if people want to say the powers that be put him where he is because he did this or that, those powers that be could have unalived him by now. And he was spared for some type of reason. But I don't think he's going to change his ways. Right before he was supposedly going to turn himself in. Was he going to turn himself in, or was he going to turn himself into a program? Sounded like he was about to check into a program, and he wanted to have one last hoorah before he did. But right before he was about to do that, he had all his stuff ready for a freak off. Christian acting like this in front of the court with his girl. Like, are you serious right now? He loves to mock the authorities. I guess he's blasting his music. I see.
God bless. God bless. Like I'm living in breeze. Switching it up. I feel like this drink in my cup. Ass so fast, she tosses me get drunk. She throw it back at me, dropping my blunt. I get paid in the sun. Pull up the whip in the front.
What was the purpose of doing the push-ups? I don't get it. Somebody said, literally watch that man brutally beat Cassie. Celebrating anything is disgusting. Exactly. Somebody said, Baby Oil Jr. Somebody was like, that's still their father. That's still his father. Are y'all okay? Like, girl, shut up. Somebody said, boy, get in the car and go home. He seemed like he outside trying to sell his sell mixtape out the trunk of the car. I guess that's what he got to do because his daddy wasn't helping him promote his music. That's for sure. But yeah, all that celebrating and whatnot, child. Let me show what I got going on over here. Well, I guess the racketeering song didn't get to the right people. Okay, let's see. I got a couple things saved over here as well. Oops. Or maybe I don't. Yeah, I don't think I actually have anything new over here.
So along this journey of covering this trial, you make friends, and Sam.
Oh yeah, no. We're not going to be glazing Secret Service Sam. But let me look up Khadijah real quick.
Diddy was just denied bail, so that means he'll be staying in jail. Today, after Diddy was found guilty of only 2 charges of transportation to engage in prostitution, arguing that he should be released on bail today. The prosecution put in a letter detailing all of the reasons why Diddy's bail needed to be denied, and also letters from Cassie Ventura and Deontay Nash. In both of those letters, they detailed that they believed that Diddy was a danger to the witnesses that testified against him in his case. The judge pretty much on this and said that Diddy has shown violence throughout this trial, like the Intercontinental Hotel video. The judge, even if the defendant was solely required to show that he is not a danger to the community, he could not meet that burden. Prior to trial, the court denied bail and sees no reason to reverse that now. The defense conceded that the defendant's violence, his violence, is depicted in the video of Cassie Ventura. The defense admitted this is a terrible moment. Domestic violence is the issue. But it wasn't only that. There was also the London hotel incident. There was violence after the searches in this case. As to Jane, there was June 2024 after the searches of Combs' residences. This evidence shows a disregard for the law and a propensity for violence. The court.
And I'm going to tell you, if the judge is saying this just to deny this ridiculous request for bond right after he was convicted on 2 Mann Act charges, then I can't even imagine the punch the judge is going to deliver in his sentencing speech or whatever order, on his sentencing order that he's going to deliver. He's telling him right here in a compacted way that this man has a propensity for violence. We didn't even read. That was what I was supposed to do. Damn it. What the government had to say. But yeah, I know you talk about Armand got you heated with the baby oil celebration. And it's even more than that. You should see it. It's like a damn circus out front of that courthouse with all the baby oil. They should have not been able to do that. So disrespectful. Disrespectful to the people, to the victims, and to other people who have been victims or victimized. And a lot of those people have never come forward. They go to the trial because they're living vicariously through these victims coming forward. And even the people who were bystanders who happen to see things, who, like poor kid Cuddy, like he came forward, got called a snitch by Young Thug and others, I'm sure, put his business out there about his dealings with Cassie and Diddy that a lot of us didn't know until this thing happened. And now come to find out, like Diddy was really, what did he say, a super villain in real life, like burnt this man's car up, broke into his house, put his dog in the bathroom for hours and really traumatized the dog, ruined the dog actually. But you know, he's speeding back and forth in front of the crib while the police are there taunting, like he don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I do what I want. And they did nothing. Even when it comes out however many years later, it's like 20 years later or more. No, this was in 2012, 13 years later. And still no consequence. I really want to know why they couldn't pin him for the RICO. Personally, I feel like it was just a matter of the fact that they didn't feel that these were done via an enterprise. I feel like if some of those charges, not all of them, but some of them were solo charges to Diddy, they might have convicted him on some of those things. But because the other people were involved, KK was in the middle of everything. D-Rock was in the middle of everything. All the transactions, the narcotics, trafficking, the bribery, the extortion of the parents. There was somebody in the middle of all of that, whether it be Robin Green, the accountant, or, you know, just any of those enablers. Somebody was always in the middle. They said it. He can't even pour his own water. Of course, he's going to get help with everything he's doing, whether it's business related or personal. Working those people like indentured servants. Like, who does that? Why not get enough staff to rotate shifts? Like, you can't hire an extra person. All that money this man has. And he gets to keep his money, I believe, because of the RICO charge not being found guilty on RICO. I believe that the forfeiture clause in the indictment had to do with the RICO. Yeah, it's super effed up. So let me go back over to this government letter. This is what the this is what the government filed today in response to the judge considering immediate bond for Diddy. So they said the government respectfully submits this letter following the jury trial of the defendant, Sean Combs. Following a 7-week jury trial, the defendant was found guilty on 2 counts of interstate transportation for the purpose of prostitution in violation of 18 U.S.C. 242(1)(a). The defendant has moved for bail pending sentencing under the Bail Reform Act. However, because detention is mandatory under the Bail Reform Act, 18 U.S.C. 3143(a)(2), he is not entitled to release and his detention must be continued. And there's a footnote. It says, notwithstanding the government's initial statement at the time of the verdict, the applicable legal standard is set forth here. Okay. So they give a background and talk about the 7 weeks of trial and how the jury has heard the evidence of his violence and the transportation of numerous individuals for prostitution, narcotics use and distribution, and attempts to escape law enforcement detection. They say the conduct has spanned 2 decades. And at trial, the defendant did not walk away from these facts. Indeed, the defendant embraced the fact that he was a habitual narcotics user who regularly engaged in domestic abuse. Rather, the defendant argued that despite his repeated violence against girlfriends, he did not engage in S trafficking. And despite his prolific drug narcotics use, he did not engage in racketeering activity. The jury subsequently acquitted the defendant on counts related to racketeering conspiracy and S trafficking. The defendant was convicted of 2 counts of violating the Mann Act by transporting girlfriends and male commercial S workers interstate for the purpose of engaging in acts of prostitution. Okay, specifically, the defendant caused these individuals to travel interstate and internationally for the purpose of engaging in freak-offs or hotel nights, elaborate multi-day sex performances involving significant drug use that the defendant directed, self-pleasure during and often filmed. The evidence presented over the course of 7 weeks showed that the defendant did this repeatedly, including after the defendant undisputably knew he was under federal investigation. He liked the fact that, in my opinion, interjecting, he liked the fact that he was being watched. I think the fact that he knew the government was watching was an extra high for him, like an extra motive for him to do one more time. And they say that other facts at trial showed, among other things, that the defendant serially abused a former girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, and that she sustained injuries for many of these assaults. And they talk about the hotel assault being caught on camera, and that the facts at the trial showed the defendant regularly brought and consumed narcotics that he provided to Cassie and Jane during the freak offs or hotel nights. These are things they're pointing out. This is what the jury missed. Just because the jury missed it doesn't mean it didn't happen. And with that being said, we cannot let this Negro out. Period. We need him sentenced and we need him to do his time, because they know he's going to flee. And now they're going to remind the court as well as what they found on him at the time of his arrest. All that baby oil and Astroglide and all that money, $9,000 in cash. And then they bring up all the S workers: Jules, Clayton, Julian, Cabral, Paul, Michael, Rico. One of them named Rico. And these were all paid S workers. They continue to talk about the rest of the evidence about the other things that were noted that I guess the jury missed. Christina Courtroom, they say she was his travel advisor, his security staff. Oh no, they're saying that Chief of Staff Christina Courtroom were the services of these employees were used, and the evidence showed that Christina Courtroom, his chief of staff, his travel advisor, his security staff, his assistants, in order to carry out all the offenses of the conviction, even if they were unknowing, they were a part of the RICO. See, they're pointing out, the jury missed this stuff. We don't know how, but he was still guilty of it. Now that hotel assault is big. It comes up again here under the fact that saying that he tried to obstruct justice with regard to counts 3 and 5. They say he tried to pay off guards following Cassie's attack, and that's the whole bribery thing that was proven, in my opinion. Well, it does say here, accordingly, based only on the preliminary calculations set forth above, the defense range is at least 51 to 63 months imprisonment. So they're saying that's what the guideline is for those particular. So I think, do they mean for each charge? The government notes, however, that the guidelines applicable as sentencing may be higher than this preliminary calculation. Counts 3 and 5 overlap substantially with evidence related to S trafficking counts. So they give the applicable law for this. They give analysis, which I'm not going to read. And basically, for all these reasons that, he needs to stay in prison. He needs to be denied bond pending his bail, pending his sentencing. Okay. They said that he can't meet the burden to demonstrate by clear and convincing evidence that he is not a danger to the community, because there is overwhelming evidence established at trial, which the defendant did not dispute, that shows the defendant has engaged in years-long pattern of abuse and violence, including as recently as June of 2024, approximately 3 months before his arrest in this case. They continue to say, even though he knew he was under investigation, he continued to do these freak offs. He continued to abuse people. He continued to live the way he was living, and he knew it was wrong, but he couldn't help himself. So why should we let him out while he's waiting for his sentence, when that's really going to give him the opportunity to fly the coop? Because that's really what the man is going to do. Okay. He still got his money. I don't know how soon his money is released, because he got to pay these lawyers. From what I understand, he hasn't been able to pay them because his money was frozen. So I don't know. Maybe once he's sentenced, I don't know how long it takes for them to unfreeze the money, child. But I know one thing, those kids of his are, I'm sure, ecstatic, or maybe they're not. I'm thinking some of them might have secretly been hoping he got the big time, that he got the RICO and he's going to stay in prison, because he's going to be hell on wheels when he comes home. And if the public doesn't see it, you can be rest assured that his family is going to see it. And Jane is going to see it, because she's going to keep messing with that man because he's paying her rent and whatnot. And as well as probably Gina. Somebody said Cassie is going to be reaching out. I doubt that. Cassie got her millions and she's fine. She just might need to get some extra security, because I'm telling you, I feel like some new charges might come, whether they're state charges, or they are different charges under a federal, some type of a federal law situation that he done broke again. But he's not finished. Matter of fact, he's still pretty much drowning in all of these allegations against him. And the only way for him to escape is through freak offs and through narcotics. This is the way he does escape, and why he was so invested in doing these things, more so during the week than actual work, it seemed like, is because that's the only way he could escape from all the stuff he has going on in his life. Just because he has money does not make him a happy man. And what I'm understanding and getting through divine message is that this man is far from happy, hasn't been happy in a long time, if ever. And that he is basically a living cliche of hurt people hurt people. He is just one of those people who is a raging pig. Nia said, Aubrey O'Day might as well leave the U.S., child. I know she can't afford it. She better sell some cat. No, you didn't. Well, Wayne said he needs his ball and chain. Which is who or what? You mean an actual ball and chain? Yeah, I agree with that. Trav said, yes, I don't understand why. Don't understand. You only need 2, seem at least 4. Right. But again, I think it's because they felt like we don't really see, there's some, not all, because apparently there was a split on the vote. But I think that there were people who didn't want to give him the RICO, and they're using the fact that they don't buy the assistants, the staff, that they were a part of it, even though you don't have to even be conscious of being a part of it. But I feel like they use that as their excuse to vote against it. And under the real reason is because they were paid off. I'm telling you, people were compromised in this jury. I'm standing on this. There is no way that otherwise they would not have seen the connection and all the dots linked together for the RICO. Like, what? So I really want to say, are you dumb? But I know they're not dumb. They're just low vibrating, just some low down, dirty dog and people who look out for themselves, who took the bait, who took the money and ran with it and couldn't get away with not giving them nothing because the proof was too strong for the Mann Act. But they didn't get him that RICO, and that was what the job was at the end of the day, I think. I think they were paid for that. You'll get the balance of this once he is not convicted of RICO. But try not to get him convicted on anything. That's the goal. And I think he thought he was going to get to that. I think he thought that that was going to be the case for him. Mm-hmm. So I showed this Young Miami posting that. Oh yeah, Deontay Nash's letter. He wrote a letter too, which probably had an impact on the judge as well. He wrote to the judge saying, I'm writing to express my grave concern over the prospect of Sean Combs being released from custody. While I appreciate the fairness you have shown throughout this proceeding, I feel compelled to be unequivocal about the danger he poses to the public and to the individuals who have risked everything by coming forward. Mr. Combs has a long, well-documented history of violent, coercive, and retaliatory behavior. Over the years, he has repeatedly escaped meaningful accountability. And each time, this has only reinforced his sense of impunity. If he is released now, I have no doubt he will see it as yet another license to continue intimidating, threatening, and harming people who challenge or expose him. Many of us have firsthand knowledge of the fear he instills in those around him. I can say without hesitation that he is a serious and immediate threat to victims, witnesses, and the broader community. His pattern of violence, particularly while engaged in the trafficking of individuals for prostitution, combined with unchecked substance abuse, makes it clear that he is not ready to re-enter society safely or responsibly. To release Mr. Combs without substantial consequence would undermine the integrity of this process and send a dangerous message that wealth and influence can shield someone indefinitely from accountability. It will also endanger those who cooperated with this investigation under subpoena, who are already living in fear of retaliation. I urge you in the strongest possible terms to prioritize the safety of victims and witnesses over any consideration of leniency. Mr. Combs has had countless opportunities to change, and he has chosen instead to escalate his harmful conduct. Allowing him back into the community now would be a profound mistake. Thank you for your time and your commitment to protecting the public from those who repeatedly demonstrate they are unwilling to respect the law. That was great. That was very well written. Okay, I thought I switched this over, but yeah, that was very well written. And I'm like, where did I even see that? So while Wayne, so somebody's saying, where'd you get, where's the press conference going to be? There's a press conference happening. Are we interested in the press conference? Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? There are a lot of people out there celebrating, and that is so just sad and disheartening. Like, really? And like Lunel said, like, it's kind of like, you know, a war against women at the same time. Sometimes when you see how people really disregard victims and survivors, I mean, there's really a lack of regard. I mean, there's no really other word. JR investigate. Okay. Let's see. See if there's any updates. I mean, pretty much all I think there is. Here's one of the lawyers, I think.
Not bad. How are you?
Anything you want the public to know?
Not yet. We'll be saying something soon. How you doing? Not bad. How are you?
Anything you want the public to know?
Not yet.
That's his attorney. I think that's Xavier Donaldson. Somebody commented that the jury went to the parties, child. Please don't even. Somebody put the victims must feel so robbed of justice. I agree with that. I guess this was the family today.
Okay, guys, so then the family coming inside. We have to be together. Justin, Christian, and the girls, and my bookie, Quincy, just went in.
I think that might be the sister with the wig on, but why does the girlfriend have on such a body hugging dress? Does she not understand what's happening here? I mean, my goodness. I don't know who that little kid is, but I don't know why a little kid would be at this type of a situation. Whoever this little kid is, he ain't had no business being there. And people were pointing out the fact that Cassie was actually his daughter's age at the time he met her. And people want to say, oh, you know, those poor kids having to hear this stuff. What about having it done to you? What about that? So that was them coming and this is them leaving. I think we saw this already, but. Diddy is the hometown hero, child. New York has to be so proud. I think I'm done with this today. Let me see.
I'm not a lawyer, but I'm putting out my request now. If you were a juror on the Diddy trial and would love to talk to someone who's been covering these, please reach out to me.
Oh, Lord. So people want to talk to jurors. We already knew that. I expect the jurors are going to be out. Probably, I'm not sure if they're, I heard the judge tell the media not to ask them about the deliberations, but I'm pretty sure after he's sentenced, I don't know if they have to wait until after he's sentenced to talk about things or to publicize their experience, but I'm pretty sure at some point they do have that opportunity. We're going to find out what was going on. Excuse me. Ooh, I'm hoping that mute button worked because, child, that cough. Excuse me. Well, I think today was enough. I think everything we've talked about from this morning to now, and if you missed the verdict, me reading the actual verdict, I did that on earlier video today. It's only about a 20-minute long video or so. But we do know he didn't get charged with RICO, only the 2 Mann Act charges, and that he's facing up to 10 years for each charge. Sentencing will take place in October 3rd, I believe, and there will also be a hearing on the afternoon of July 8th to discuss expediting the sentencing hearing. Of course, his attorneys are asking for it to be expedited. They want him out of there. They are, or have been today in court, fighting tooth and nail for him to be able to walk home today of all days. But the judge wasn't having it. The judge stood on business about the fact that we know who you are, Diddy, and we're not playing these games with you, and you got to stay here, period, the end. So with that said, I think that's all I wanted to cover for now. I'll probably be back after I decide what's next, okay, since this trial is over. But I'm pretty sure just something's telling me something is not over with regard to some of these headlines for this trial and the things that have went around behind the scenes and even in front of our faces that were missed. Things are going to continue to come out. Things are probably going to continue to surprise and maybe even shock us when it comes to this trial. These are just messages and I feel like I can rely on these messages. They usually ring true. So with all that said, keep your eyes and ears open, stay plugged in, which means being subscribed. If you're not already, please go ahead and do so. Give me a shot. And I'm just going to go ahead and sign off. Peace and love to you all. Till next time, bye.